your name is Bill Gates or Warren Buffett, nobody's coming after you for 2%. So he set his clients up like this. Now this is not a law, it's just a theory, and so sometimes his clients would go to court, and what happened is the judges and the other attorneys didn't understand this because it was not law, it was theory, and so they'd go to court and they would lose. Then you would take it to the federal appeals level, they'd overturn it every single time and say that's a good idea. Well, case number 13 went to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, okay? And what happened is they lost. So Jay Minton in 1974, he fought all the Trial Lawyers Association. He took them all to the Supreme Court in 1974, and our Supreme Court ruled unanimously 9-0. They said, yes, you can do this. So in 1974, this actually became a law. And it's a great way to protect your assets. Now, the question is, what assets do we put in here? There are certain assets you do not want to put in here. You don't want to put your home in a family limited partnership, because in some states it triggers your tax laws and will increase your property tax. So if you look at the screen, these are the assets you want to put in your family limited partnership once you set this up this way. And by the way, here's a huge benefit. In the year 2024, today you can be the limited partner or the general partner. You cannot be both anymore. So we highly recommend you're the limited partner, and folks, here's why. In all 50 states, you cannot sue limited partners in a family limited partnership. So we want to put 98% of those assets underneath you. Now, who's going to control the 2%? That's very simple and easy, okay? We set up a little management company. It's a little LLC, and it runs the general partnership. And who runs the LLC? You do. You and your partner and your spouse. You're still controlling your 2%. You're just doing it through a company. Now, here's the assets you want to put in there, okay? These are called safe assets. And the reason is they don't cause lawsuits. Nobody trips and falls over your bank account, okay? So your bank accounts, business and personal, investment stocks, bonds, mutual funds, some retirement accounts, gold, silver, cash. You're doing cryptocurrency, you do artwork, you have a grand piano. All these things go in your family limited partnership underneath you as a limited partner, and here's why. If somebody goes to sue you for this, and folks, this is all your money today and in the future in retirement. When it's in a family limited partnership, 98% of that is protected because you are the only one that has the key and it can now not be touched, okay? So that's strategy number one for your safe assets. So very quickly, folks, by a show of hands, how many see the benefit and the value of having a family limited partnership to protect your hard-earned assets? Make sense to everybody? Good job. All right, number two, you have other assets. These are going to cause you problems, folks. These are risky assets. Office, your equipment, land, rental properties, your second house, cars. There are a lot of you sitting here right now, you look like you're the age where you probably have teenagers driving a car. Anything more scary than a teenager behind the wheel of the car when you have the word doctor sitting in front of your name? Because you are responsible for your children until they turn 18, okay? These things are going to cause problems. These do not go in a family limited partnership. These go into an LLC, which you've all heard of. What people don't know is the very first LLC was created in Wyoming in 1987 by 3 state legislators and by Jay Minton, the guy that fought the Supreme Court. But here's the problem with LLCs. People don't understand these today because there's not one. Today we have single-member LLCs, dual-member LLCs. You have LLCs for property, LLCs for equipment, LLCs for cars. If you use the wrong LLC for the wrong asset, it doesn't work, and there are penalties and tax consequences. Number two, people don't know how to be taxed. S Corp, C Corp, sole proprietorship, partnership. You choose, it's your LLC. Now here's what I know when people don't understand this. Every day somebody comes up to me and says, John, I don't have an LLC. I have an S Corp. I'm like, that is an LLC. It's just the way you're being taxed. It tells me how little they know about their own business, folks. Now here's how it's going to protect you. It's called a charging order. This was passed in all 50 states. The charging order is a set of rules that a judge has to follow in court in case there's a judgment to be issued. This was designed that the judgment would be very small, hence the word limited liability corporation. But here's an example of how people don't do this correctly. Take a look. You have your house, you have your office building, and all your expensive medical equipment. So what happens is there's a fire in your office. This is your office. It burns. It burns the building next door. 3 people get hurt. You think you have a lawsuit coming your way? Oh, absolutely. Multiple lawsuits will be slapped at you right now. By law, they have to sue whoever owns the office. So who owns the office? Not you. Your LLC does, right? Look at the screen though, here's the mistake. This person put everything in one LLC. That means by law, one company owns all those assets, which means because of the fire in your office, the home you live in and all your equipment is now at risk. So rule number one, folks, when we set up LLCs, we never put all the assets together in one LLC. It's a very bad idea. What we do is what all the big companies do, and we separate them. So your house goes in an LLC, your expensive equipment, your office building, they're all separated because now by law they're different businesses. So they can fire that office, yes, they still got to sue that LLC. But now they can't come after your equipment or your home because by law they're called outside assets and they cannot be brought into a lawsuit. If you haven't heard of this, folks, this is what all the big companies do. Disney, Walmart, they all do it this way, and I'm going to give you a great example. This is going to blow you guys away. Get ready for this. Okay, I'm assuming everybody in this room has been to Disneyland. Correct? Anybody not been to Disneyland? Well, I can take it. I don't want to feel bad. Okay, all right. You go to Disneyland, you go to the front door, and you hand them $200, and you can go out on your rides. So you're the typical American family. They take their passes, and they literally run to their favorite ride before the lines get long. So my favorite ride is the Matterhorn. So let's say you have the Matterhorn, and you want to ride. It's a rough ride. So now you get off the Matterhorn. When you get off the Matterhorn, you hurt your back, and you cannot walk. You're really hurt. So if that happens at Disneyland today, what do you think the average American out there is going to do today? Call the attorney on the billboard and sue Disneyland. So here's the conversation that will take place now with you, your attorney in Disneyland. My client got hurt in Disneyland. We want $12 million. First thing Disneyland's going to do is say, really? Okay, prove it. How do we know your client was even here? There are 10,000 people here every hour. You're going to have to send them photographs of yourself because they have 5,000 video cameras on the property to verify you were there. What time were you there? What day? Tuesday, 2 o'clock. Send us the pictures. They pull the video, they verify you're there. Okay, your client's there. Great. Yep, your client's limping, they can't walk. Fine. What do you want from us, Disneyland? And your attorney's going to say, we want $12 million. Here's what Disneyland is now going to tell your attorney. Your client got hurt on the Matterhorn. We don't own the Matterhorn. You're going to have to sue them. Hang on a minute, John. You just set up in Disneyland. What are you talking about? They don't own the Matterhorn. Sorry, they don't. Well, then who owns the Matterhorn, folks? If Disneyland doesn't own the Matterhorn, I'll tell you who owns it. Matterhorn. LLC owns the Matterhorn. Now, folks, here's the key to this principle. How much money does every ride collect every day at Disneyland? Zero. So you have to sue a corporation that makes no money. In other words, there's nothing to take. And when there's nothing to take, there's no lawsuit. That's how it works, folks. Now, to be fair, does Disneyland have a liability policy for this stuff? Of course they do. You all have liability policies too. If they can prove negligence, the insurance company pays some of the medical bill. But here's the bottom line, folks. Everybody in this room, including me, nobody in this room can touch Disneyland's $300 billion empire. It's off limits because of the way it's set up. So what we do here at Legally Mine is we teach you as a client. We set you up like a mini Disneyland to protect everything you have so it cannot be touched. Okay? Now, state legislators don't like this, trial attorneys don't like this. In the past 20 years, they've had some laws passed, and this is very ugly. This is the part that probably nobody knows about. So 2 things, judges can do this now in court. Number 1, if you have any LLCs at all, whether they're medical, a side business, or spouse's business, it doesn't matter. The judge will ask you when you get sued, is this a closely held corporation? Now, what does that mean? Do you have more than 100 shareholders? I doubt any of you do. I'll bet your corporation has 2 people, you and your spouse, you and your partner. That's called closely held. Now the judge will say this every time. Because the judge looks at your corporation as nothing but more than an extension of you. It's just you. Okay? I'm going to hold you personally responsible for the actions against your practice. Now, those are deadly words. What does it mean to be held personally responsible? Listen close, folks. It means everything you own in your personal name is now on the table against a lawsuit in practice. That's what closely held means. Number two, a judge can dissolve your entity at will. You might say, Your Honor, I have 6 LLCs, like Disneyland. The judge will say, I'm dissolving them. Because you're being sued, we're going to take all the assets out of your LLCs, we're going to put them in your name temporarily until this is adjourned. If you're not guilty, the judge will put them back in your LLC. If you are guilty, they're going to be liquidated to pay the plaintiff that sued you. So folks, what I'm telling you is this. As it pertains to protecting you today, your LLC has 0 value. It doesn't protect you anymore. I know you think it does. You've been told by somebody it does. 30 years ago it did. Today, it does not protect you at all. It's bad language. These institutions scare you to death being a doctor. Okay?
So, it's horrible.
In the United States today, 47 states like LLC, they'll seize your assets.
Hamburger buns and like. Remember that one time? It was like a self-serve hamburger bun. Remember that? Like make your own burger.
So you know this one?
I can't even eat. If there's any veggies left, that'd be great.
Okay. Well, there's one state that's the best of those, and that's the great state of Alaska. And here's why. When you have an Alaska holding company, they do not allow your LLC to be dissolved in court. They do not allow your assets to be taken. They do not allow your membership to be taken. They have the strongest charging order. Alaska says no. Now, how does this benefit you? You're going, John, I don't live in Alaska. Why would this help you? Watch. Okay? It doesn't matter what
So
state
there's
you live in.
vegetables on your entree. Do you want to?
No, I can't.
Not so fast.
California, New York, Alabama, Hawaii. You have all your LLCs set up, just like the Disneyland example. But what we do now is we take all your LLCs and we place them under one Alaska holding company.
You know one, right?
This is called law of reciprocity. Whatever state you
Can't I?
live by law, they must follow the law of the state where your assets are eventually owned. So you might live here in Nevada, but where your assets are owned in the end? Alaska. So how does that benefit you? Alaska says no. Alaska says no. Alaska owns those LLCs, which means they can't come after any of the assets in your LLC where you live now because your Alaska holding company owns them. Okay? So very quickly, folks, by show of hands, how many of you knew about this Alaska principle before this class today? That table over there, that's the A table. Good job, you guys. Okay. Obviously, the power and the benefit of having an Alaska holding company to protect everything you own. Pretty strong, right? There's 2 things you need to get done. A family limited partnership, separate your assets, and get an Alaska holding company, folks, because this is how the rich keep their stuff. Okay, next. These trial attorneys don't like this. They've had laws passed in all 50 states. This is the bad language I told you about that's in your LLC. The legal name is called the Pro Rata Distribution Clause. Here's what it means. It awards the judge financial control over your entity and allows the judge to garnish your wages. So I'm going to take you guys to court here real fast. Okay? So we're going to go to court, and I'm going to take 2 people right now in the audience as an example. Watch this, okay? Sir, what's your first name? Chicken? What? I can't even hear you. Sorry. What's your name, bud? Andrew. Sorry, I'm hard of hearing. So we got Andrew, okay? And then let's go somewhere else over here. Okay, Andrew's right here. Ma'am, what's your name? Stephanie? Okay, so folks, we have Andrew and Stephanie. I'm the judge. We're going to court, okay? So what's happening now is Andrew is suing Stephanie. And I listen to this case and I go, you know what, Andrew? You're right. She's guilty. Negligence. That's horrible what she did. So Andrew, as a judge, I'm awarding you $13 million. Now, folks, anytime a judge makes an award like that, here's the judge's job. They've got to go find the money. So here's the first thing that's going to happen. They're going to hammer your insurance policy. So you got a liability insurance for $1 or $2 million. You got an umbrella for a couple million. There's $4 million. $4 million gone. Well, you still owe Stephanie $9 million. You still owe Andrew $9 million. So what's he going to do now? The judge is going to take apart your LLC like I just showed you, dissolve them and liquidate all your assets. So your company, your cash accounts, your house, your equipment, whatever you have, your boat, your rental property, liquidated. Let's say that's worth another $4 million. Well, you still owe Andrew $5 million and you have nothing left. Oh, wait a minute, yes you do. You work every day as a doctor. Now the judge will invoke this clause. They're going to say, Stephanie, you've been a doctor for years. Let's look at your net income for the past 5 years and see how much money you take home every year after taxes. So hypothetically, maybe Stephanie's taking home $500,000 every year. And you still owe Andrew $5 million. So now the judge will say, Stephanie, I know you have to pay your bills, but you're not keeping that $500,000. I'm garnishing your wages. You can keep $100,000 to live off of. Everything above and beyond that goes to Andrew until you pay this off, court adjourned. That's what that language means. It's a kiss of death in a court of law, guys. And it's being invoked every day in these 50 states across this country. It's ugly. And it's not just losing a court case. Can you imagine going to work for the next 5 to 10 years with your wages garnished? Let me tell you what's going to happen now. It's not just the money, it's this. Ask anybody that's been sued like this how much mental anguish they go through for 5 to 10 years. Now there are no helping your kids out. There is no college being paid. There are no cars and vacations anymore because you didn't know about 2 paragraphs in your LLC language. Okay? So how do we get rid of this? What we do is we
He's like asleep right now.
So legally blind, here's what we do.
Can you imagine how many times he said?
We get rid of this bad
I think it's the same guy who did it 7 years
The
ago.
holding company, we put in good verbiage, it's called a non-pro rata distribution clause. What it does, it blocks the judge. Because our language says, only the general partner, you can order a distribution.
Pitch at the end.
So we go back to court, I listen to this case, and I go, yep, Stephanie's negligent, I'm awarding Andrew $13 million. Now the judge goes through the articles of corporation, guess what I find out? I can award all of you $13 million. But I can't make Stephanie pay. Only she can authorize $13 million to go to Andrew. So Stephanie, you want to give him $13 million? She's like, not today. So Andrew, guess what just happened? You sued, you won, you're never getting paid because she's our client, and we changed the language. I'm going to be blunt. If Stephanie makes a distribution to herself, the judge will garnish those wages. So what do? You got to pay yourself some money. You pay your partner or your spouse instead of you. Or how about this one? You want to get really creative? Since Stephanie owns her own practice, that means she's the owner, the president of her LLC, but she's also an employee for herself because she pays herself a salary. So, if Stephanie asks herself for a zero interest loan every single month with no intention of paying herself back every day of the week. Hey John, that sounds like a distribution. Yeah, but it's not, it's a loan. So what just happened here, folks? We flipped the tables. Now I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen right now to Andrew. It's gonna get really ugly really fast. You're about to learn why our 17,000 clients never go to court. Congress passed a law for the IRS. It's called 77-137. A plaintiff, Andrew, using the charging order, will have to pay income tax on any monetary judgment, even if there's no distribution from the defendant. Oh, you read that right. So you sued Andrew, you won, judge can't make you pay. The IRS says a legal judgment was made that a judge did award you $13 million. You, by law, you owe the IRS 30% of $13 million you're never going to see. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in 20 years, this happened in Seattle, Washington, to one of our clients this summer. I'm giving you real numbers from a court case. They couldn't touch anything our client had. All they got was $3 million in insurance, the other $10 million was off limits because of everything I just showed you. So what do we do here, legally mine? In the eyes of the law, we make you penniless. Dr. Ernest Roman, he's one of our pain management instructors. He goes, in the eyes of the law, I'm penniless, homeless, whatever you want to call it. What we do at our company is we take the semantics out of this so it favors you, not the people suing you, not the judge, not the court. It's just that simple. But it's got to be done the correct way with the right entities, and you got to have the right language, and you got to have the right state. This is why we have 17,000 clients that use this, because folks, the bottom line is this. If there's nothing to take, there's no lawsuit.
Find something for you.
Oh, you're the best. Thank you.
His attorney.
Thank you for that.
His attorneys take a percentage of all this, and they're not getting paid either. This ain't going anywhere, folks. It's just that simple, okay? All right, so what do you do now? We give you 2 minutes on this. Estate planning, okay? This is where people make a lot of mistakes with this, okay? Real quick, by showing hands, I'm curious, how many have a will? Anybody have a will? Looks like about 20, 30, okay? I'm gonna say something. Good. I'm glad you have a will. It's better than having nothing. Here's the problem. 63% of Americans have nothing. Now here's the problem with a will. Does anybody here actually have a trust? Anybody have a trust? There's about 6, 10, about 15, 20. No, smart. Here's why. If you only have a will, wills are disputable even while they're alive. A will is not ironclad. So I'll give you an example of this, a personal example, folks. I got 5 kids. Okay? Now, let's say I pass away. I take all my net worth, 50 million bucks, and I leave it in my will to my 5 children. I want you to have this, you take this, you get this. Now, with 5 children, is it possible that one of my children may not like what I leave them? What do you guys think? Absolutely yes. And I know what kid it is in case you're curious. They're your mama parents right there, okay? So what happens is, my one child's upset. They don't like this. Dad, that's not fair. So what do? They sue the estate because it's in a will. What happens now? My 4 other children have to hire an attorney to sue their sibling. And they got to fight this. You know where this goes? Probate court. And folks, I don't care what state you live in, probate court does not happen in 2 to 3 months. It's 18 months to 2 years in most cases. And what happens? You send your 15 million, whatever you're worth, and it goes to probate court now because everybody's fighting over your will, and these attorneys hack away at it in probate court. So your 15 million gets whittled down to 14 million, 13 and a half over 2 years, and a lot of what you worked for just went to lawyers instead of to your children because wills are disputable. I'm gonna hit home with this one. Honestly, sincerely, last show of hands, how many of you have children that are minors, 17 or under? And we got kids? Okay, this includes your children. Because people put in a will, if my spouse or my partner and I both pass away together at the same time, we want the kids to go to my mom. My parents get the kids. Wait a minute. The other grandparents go, not fair. We live here, we take these kids all the time too. Why are they getting the kids? Now you have grandparents doing this. And now they dispute the will. Guess who decides to get your children now? The court does, not your will. Wills are disputable. You want a great example? When you go home tonight, go Google Aretha Franklin and see what happened to her will over 7.5 years. It's ugly. So folks, this has to go into a trust. Now there's 2 types of trust. You have an irrevocable trust, and you have a revocable trust. Now be careful because we do not do a lot of irrevocable trusts. And the reason is, you can't change them. The decision you make today is locked up for the rest of your life. So you have to be very careful what you do with an irrevocable trust. They do have a purpose once in a while, but it's tough because judges don't want to break these. You make a decision at age 40, you want to change it when you're 60, it's not going to happen, okay? So we put it into a revocable trust, and that one can be modified. We recommend every 2 years you look at your trust to see if something needs to be changed or life changes, okay? Now, a revocable trust does not provide you with asset protection. People think a trust gives them asset protection, not a revocable trust that does not protect anything. But that's why we have your LLCs, your family limited partnership, and your Alaska holding company in there because there's your asset protection. So now here's what happens. Go back to my 5 children. Everything I have is in a revocable trust. Now I pass away, my revocable trust becomes irrevocable the second I die, which means that it cannot be disputed. So now my one child is unhappy. Guess what? Well, too bad, so sad, says Dad, I'm dead. It's done the way I want it to be done. So folks, it needs to go into a trust so that what you want done happens the way you want it done, so it can't be disputed. Aretha Franklin didn't do this. Google it, folks, it'll blow your mind. She had 4 kids, one of them's mentally challenged. She had a will, never did the trust stuff, none of this stuff. She passed away in 2017, worth millions. And what happened is, one son didn't like it, sued the brothers. And then they found a second will that contradicted the first will. This was a probate court for 7.5 years. And one of her kids is mentally challenged and needs help. And they asked her attorney, why didn't you set this up? Well, it's the same excuse I hear from people every day. Well, I was thinking about it. I knew I needed to do it. Later, I'm busy, I'm performing, we'll do it later. She never got it done. She got sick and passed away unexpectedly. 7.5 years in probate court. 30 minutes in a document would have changed everything. So make sure you get this done in the trust, folks, okay? All right, let's wrap this up by saving you guys a lot of money. Very quick survey for the group. How many of you are 1099? You own your own practice? 1099? Okay, how many of you are W-2? Your employee work for somebody else? That pretty much everybody? Okay, we'll cover both. We have over 40 tax strategies. We can save you money in taxes whether you're 1099 or W-2, which shocks a lot of people because everybody gets told it's W-2, there's nothing you can do. That's because your CPA really doesn't know the law like a tax attorney. Okay, so number 1, top left-hand corner, folks, the quickest, fastest way to save money is to have an S corporation, and here's why: it's your FICA taxes. Okay? If you do not have an S corp, here's what happens: C corp, partnership, sole proprietorship. Okay? You pay yourself a salary. You pay $200,000 every year to yourself. Well, if it's not an S corp, you got to pay 7.5% in FICA to the corporation and 7.5% to yourself as an employee, that's 15%. That means you're paying 30 grand in FICA tax on $200, 200,000. When it's in an S corp, you pay yourself differently. You pay yourself half W-2, the other half is distributions. On the distributions up to a large amount, you don't have to pay any FICA. So on a $200,000 example, just save yourself $15,000 in taxes that fast. An S corporation is the easiest, quickest, fastest way to save money in taxes. If your CPA hasn't told you to get an S corp, you need to question them because you're giving the IRS a bunch of money you should be keeping. Top right hand corner. For all of you that have these kids that are 17 years and under, the IRS says by law you can put them to work. They can go to work for your LLC, whether it's your practice or another LLC or some of your spouse has. 17 years and under, you can pay those children. They can do what's called fair and reasonable work. Okay? You pay them $14,800 a year. $14,800. Don't go over the amount. They don't have to file a tax return. They don't have to pay taxes. Now, what can you have them do? I don't know. Fair and reasonable work. Have them clean the office. You guys have to shred documents legally. You want to entertain a 7-year-old? Put them in front of the shredder for an hour with your documents. Been there, done that. Okay? Have them do your social media, folks. Have them run errands, whatever. Dentists, if you're not doing our dental clients do, you should be. You walk in any of our clients that are dentists, you'll see pictures of the family all over the wall. Because you know what that dentist just did? Hired every one of their kids to be a model for that dental practice for $14,800 a year. Okay? Now, obviously, you can't do much with a 1-year-old. You gotta be smart about it. Okay? Folks, your minor kids, they can do a lot of things. You got 2 or 3 kids, that just saved you 10 to 15 grand in taxes right there. Get the kids working. Does everybody understand why I have 5 children now? Okay, so you're paying attention. All right, good. All right, now, some of you might have kids that are older. Maybe you have kids that are 18, 22, they're in college. Well, guys, 14 grand is not gonna do a lot for college today. It's expensive. So you still pay your older children 30, 40, 50 grand a year. It's a tax write-off for you. They're gonna have to pay taxes on their money because they're over 18, but folks, they're in college. This is their tax bracket compared to yours. And most of our clients, they'll pay their kids' taxes anyway because they still get the huge write-off and they come ahead. Some of you might have elderly parents right now that are in retirement. And with inflation the last 4 years, their money ain't going like it used to. So hire your folks to work for your practice, pay them a little wage. They'll have to pay a little bit in tax, but big deal. Now they have some supplementary money and you just got a tax write-off for yourself to save money. Get these kids working. Section 280AG. Everybody should be doing this. This one, by the way, the kids, that's 1099 or W-2, by the way. And if you're W-2, you're going, how can I do this, John? Back up 30 minutes. Do you remember when I showed you the family limited partnership? Where 98% of your assets go under as a limited partner? Y'all remember that? Then the 2%, it was a management company, an LLC. That's your Alaska holding company, by the way. That's a live active corporation. And the job of that corporation is to manage your finances in your family limited partnership, which means if you're W-2, you can do write-offs through that Alaska holding company, your family limited partnership. So you can have the kids work for you now. And all these things I'm showing you, folks, if you're W-2, instead of paying your cell phone bill out of your own pocket, you let your Alaska holding company pay your cell phone bill in your family limited partnership. And so what happens if you're W-2 and you're paying whatever this is in tax every year you get hammered with the same tax. When you run through your Alaska holding company, your family limited partnership, it shows a loss every year. That loss offsets what you pay in taxes, and even as W-2, you're gonna pay less the rest of your life. This is why we use tax attorneys, folks, okay? Now, 280AG is big. You can also do this if you're W-2 and 1099. Los Angeles, California, 1984 Summer Olympics. They did not have enough hotel space for everybody that was coming around the world. So they passed a temporary law in Southern California that said if you own a home and you'd like to rent it out for 14 days during the Olympics to help us out, charge as much money as you want for the rent for 14 days, you don't have to pay any taxes. Californians went crazy, rented their houses out for 14 days. In Augusta, Georgia, they do it for the Masters every year. It's called the Augusta Rule. And they said you can keep all the money, not have to pay taxes. Okay, great. Well, about 10 years later, that became a permanent law if you have an LLC. So folks, this is huge. If you have an LLC, and it doesn't have to be your medical practice, it could be your spouse running a tanning salon, your spouse could be a plumbing business. As long as you have an LLC, by law, you can rent your home out to your business 14 days a year to hold business meetings, not birthday parties, legitimate business meetings. And then your LLC pays you rent, like you want to rent this ballroom for a day. Now, how much do you charge is the question. This is based upon your income, the value of your house, and the city you live in. We can figure this to the dollar for you. The national average, so you know, is $2,000 per occurrence. So 14 times, I'm just gonna use the national average, $2,000, you're renting your house to your LLC to hold business meetings. That's $28,000 that your LLC is paying you. That's a tax write-off. Just save you 10 to 15 grand depending on your tax bracket. Now, some of you might be able to do more because it's based on your income. We have orthopedic surgeons that make millions. They're renting their home for $10,000 per occurrence because they can financially justify it. We can figure this for you. But if you're not renting your home out, you are handing the IRS 10 to 15 grand a year that you want to be keeping. And I got good news for you. Not only do you get a tax write-off, that Los Angeles law still applies today. So when those folks started renting their homes, they got to keep all the money and pay no tax. Same thing here. So if you rent your house out 14 times for $2,000, that's 28 grand. You pay no taxes on that money. That's like your own company giving you a bonus check every single year. Tax write-off, bonus check with no tax. Boom. Okay? Folks, now that you just heard that strategy, how many of you like me better now than you did 2 minutes ago? Pretty awesome. Okay. Let me ask you something. Let's show you this one. This will apply to a lot of you too. This is called the QBI. Some of you might make too much. I don't know. It gives you 20% off your income if you're a licensed professional, which all of you are, okay? It has to go through an S Corp. There's no reason you want an S Corp. Lots of advantages. The key is your net income must be over $383,900. That's combined net income. That's you and your partner, you and your spouse. So let's just say your CPA does your taxes. You go to your CPA, you did $1 million gross, you give them all your deductions and your whatever, and they say you made $350,000. So now you owe tax on $350,000, but you're below that amount. So what happens? Everybody out here pays taxes on $350,000. Our clients do not. We say you're under that amount, let's qualify you for QBI. It's going to give you a 20% discount on what you owe the IRS. So we fill out the documents and we send them in. Now here's how this changes. Remember you had $1 million gross? Not anymore. Take 20% off. Your gross went from 1 million to 800,000 like that because you qualified. Then you do all your deductions with your CPA. Your net income is not 350,000, it's now 220, and you're paying taxes on 220 instead of 350. Just saved a lot of money in tax. How many of you like that one? Pretty awesome? Okay. How many of you knew about it before you came here today? 3 people. Folks, what is your CPA not doing for you here today? Seriously. This is an issue right now. I'm showing you things, and most of you don't even know these things. What in the world is going on with your CPA? Now this is the brutal part that I have to share with you. And you'll make your own decision. You have 3 types of CPAs. You have your conservative CPAs that will do the bare minimum. And that's it. No, don't do that. No, you shouldn't do that. Just do these 4 things. That's it. Yeah, I've never used one of them in a million years. You got your high-end CPAs. I call them crazy. They're nuts. They're too aggressive. I'm going to set you up 3 Cayman Island accounts. This one's going to go through Switzerland, Budapest, and Chile. Then we'll get it to your account. Yeah, say hello to the IRS the rest of your life doing that stuff. Don't ever use a CPA like that. You have your other CPAs that are middle of the road, and they're awesome, folks. They're doing a really good job for you. And what happens is you go to them now and you say, hey, I'm working with this company, Legally Mine. They have 4 tax attorneys that show me all these new strategies you're not doing. They can save me 30, 40, 50 grand a year. Why are you not doing them? Would you get on the phone and talk to their tax attorney for me, please? And they're like, okay. I'm going to talk to a tax attorney and learn what you learned here. Why? Okay, sure. Then we set up a 3-way call with you and your CPA. Now, obviously, you got to be a client to do this. We don't do this for free for everybody. But we welcome that. We encourage it because now our tax attorney educates your CPA why they should be doing this and how to do it and the paperwork to fill out for the rest of your life. These things you qualify for, you just put a lot more money in your pocket. Okay? Now, here's why we do this way. This is how the tax world works. You have CPAs, you have a tax strategist. They're very expensive. Most people cannot afford them, but they're gold. Then you have tax attorneys. And all these tax attorneys do is they eat, breathe, and sleep the IRS tax code every day of their life. Okay? So once you become a client, we highly recommend you do a 3-way call with your CPA and our tax attorney, and here's why. We are not doing your taxes. We don't want to be your CPA. We're a second set of eyes to help you do things you're not doing and keep your money instead of giving it to the IRS by using some tax strategies you don't know about. And folks, I've shown you 4 out of 40, okay? And I'm saving the best for last for you. If you got practices, a lot of you will qualify for this one. This is called professional research and development credits, especially in the medical world. In 1981, there was a law called TEFRA, and Congress passed a law that said only pharmaceutical companies could get research and development credits, nobody else could. That was during the Ronald Reagan administration. Everybody had tax credits, they didn't have deductions, then it changed. Every 4 years they had to renew that. In 2015 they made the law permanent. Part of the negotiation was to make it permanent. It had to be available to the medical community, which means you that have practices. So, a lot of you will be able to earn tax credits. These are not deductions. This is a dollar for dollar exchange. We'll take a huge chunk out of what you owe the IRS. How do you earn a credit? Credits refer to the time invested in training and implementation of products and processes. Okay, what are you doing here for 3 days? I'll bet you didn't even know that all your CE credits you get count as tax credits for your business. Have you ever bought new equipment, had to spend some time teaching your employees how to use it? Those are hours for tax credits. Have you ever upgraded your software system, had to teach the whole office how to use it? All those hours are tax credits for you, folks. You can be getting dozens and dozens of tax credits every year. Now, how do you get paid for them? Every tax credit is worth how much you make an hour, which you know I don't, okay? Our average dentist is making $400 an hour, so we use our dentist. So you get all your CE this weekend, 20, 30 hours, you do stuff during the year. Let's just use 50 hours to make this a fast example. 50 hours of research and development this year. If you're making $400 an hour, that's $20,000. So how does this affect your tax? Go back to your CPA. You take your $1 million gross in, you take off your 20%, you will it down to $220, you owe taxes on $220, you owe about a third of that, about $60,000, $70,000. Everybody pays. Not our clients, we go, how much R&D did you have? Oh, I got $20,000 in R&D credits. Okay, you owe IRS 60 grand, right? Now you own 40, because the tax credits come off the total amount. You take a huge chunk out every year. Folks, we've been doing this for 20 years. We are experts at this. Most CPAs know nothing about this. That's why they don't do it, okay? We can save you a ton of money in taxes every year. Some of our clients, we zero them out every year with tax credits. Some of our clients have leftover credits. And by law, you can carry them over for 3 years. So some of our clients pay no tax. Well, I got $15,000 extra. Yeah, you got $15,000 for 2025, and we haven't even got there yet. So we can spend some time. This is something we do later, about 3 months down the road, once you're a client, we get everything set up, because this takes 25 hours. Oh, good news, I didn't tell you the good part, sorry. Here's what takes 25 hours. If you've never done this before, which I imagine is probably all of it, by law, we can go back and look at your taxes for the past 3 years and see how many of these credits you should have claimed. And we can take all 3 years in one lump sum and pile them on to 2024 when you do your taxes this next spring. 3 years worth. What do you think that's going to do to your tax? Wow. Okay, how many of you like me a lot better now you did 5 minutes ago? Yeah, folks, you don't know what you don't know. This is why we use tax attorneys. 40 strategies, there's 5 guys. Okay, so bottom line, we'll put more money in your pocket and we can create strategies to make sure that if somebody sues you, they can't touch what you have, okay? Here's the problem, well, here's the benefit. If there's nothing to take, there's no lawsuit. You're homeless in the eyes of the court. Work hard, be a good doctor, whatever you're doing, and just enjoy your practice and your family, not worry about a lawsuit, because they're a pain, they're gonna get worse, okay? Here's where people struggle though. If you go out in the real world and you wanna get this done, it costs a lot of money and it takes a lot of time. You have to go see 3 different attorneys, an asset protection attorney, a tax attorney, and an estate attorney. Most people won't go see 1 attorney, let alone 3. Well, it's gonna cost you about 25 to 45 grand to do everything I showed you today. Now here's the problem, this is a big mistake, okay? People will use regular attorneys to do this work. That's a kiss of death, and here's why. Your doctors, you should know this. If I have a heart attack, what kind of doctor do I want right now? Cardiologist, right? But you say, John, wait a minute, I have 2 friends that are doctors, they'll help you. What kind of doctors? This one's an orthopedic knee surgeon, that's a family practitioner. No, but John, they're doctors. Do you see what I'm teaching you folks? Doctors specialize in different parts of medicine, so do attorneys. You don't use a real estate attorney to do your trust, ever. All these guys on the billboards on the freeway, you don't use them to do any of the stuff I showed you today because they don't know this part of the law. They'll miss all the little tiny things that the family practitioner would miss fixing the old heart. You gotta make sure you use an asset protection attorney, folks. So here's what we do. We do everything under one roof. We have all these attorneys at our company. So you have to go to one place, we make it simple and we make it easy. Now, that's our anytime pricing to do all of it. Next week, next month, next year, you want to get it done, it's $13,800. That's good to you. Next month, next year, whenever. Open door. Now, in conclusion, this is a big benefit to you being here today. This is why I'm on stage right now. I'm speaking to over 150 licensed professionals that I did not have to go find and spend marketing dollars and pay commissions for. What did I have to do? He knows what's going on. Yeah, what did I have to do? Buy you lunch. Yeah, so by buying you lunch, I got to talk to all of you. You saved our company tens of thousands of dollars being here for an hour. So we're going to thank you for it. If you know you need to get this stuff done, which you do, and you can see all the advantages to having it, we have what is called a conference special for you. This is why we get invited back once a year to do this. You want to get it done this weekend while we're here, folks, it's $8,400. And I tell you right now, I've already got 5 clients sitting in the room here that have done this the last 3 to 5 years, okay? $8,400, it's good during the event, which means till tomorrow at 4 o'clock. So if you'd like to take advantage of it, you come see me, or, where's my team? There's Jamie. Jamie's right there on the left, and on the back of the room, there's Braxton. We're all gonna be next door in our booth. We're the first one you see when you walk in that in door. Come see me now, anytime today, tomorrow until 4 o'clock, that is valid. I'm gonna break it down for you so you know exactly where this is going. $6,000, that is to create all your entities. This is all your LLCs, your Alaska holding company, your management company, your
$200 a month.
family limited partnership, your trust.
$200 a month,
done.
that's the maintenance.
You pay that one time and you never pay it again. Okay? Everything's done. But look what it says, now and in the future, which means down the road, if you need, like, let's say you go buy 3 rental properties in 3 years. We need 3 more LLCs to protect those. We create those entities for free. All you do is pay your real estate fee renewal. So any future entities are done for free. $2,400 of that, folks, that is our premium program. That covers 1 full year. That is required the first year because this takes about 3 to 5 months to get all this done. It's not 3 to 5 weeks, it's 3 to 5 months. So we'll take care of all this stuff, get it done. We'll also do your minutes. We will take care of your renewals for you. We keep our customers' credit cards on file, so anytime all your entities need to be renewed, we just do it for you and say, it's done, okay? Here's what it's gonna show on your Visa card, so you don't need to worry about getting this stuff done. When you rent your house out 14 times, by law, you're supposed to take notes and minutes. To be blunt, most people don't. Our attorneys have IRS compliant minutes, just emails, we'll send you notes. Everybody says, did you take notes? Yeah, I did, my attorney did them for me. You'll never be questioned, okay? Also, we give you continuous support. We help you with your accounts payable. Every year we give you a tax strategy. We will sit down with you before your CPA does your taxes to go through all the tax strategies, whether you're W-2 or 1099, to make sure that you've done this right, that they know what to do to save you a lot of money. So like I said, we're an extra set of eyes. Also, we take care of all your HIPAA and OSHA. Please do not pay another company to do your OSHA. We do it for free. All your compliance, training employees and everything, they'll save you thousands every year. A little bonus for you. Shield protection. Sometimes people are going to try to trash your reputation and put you on the National Practitioner Database, the naughty list. And 90% of the time, it's not going to be your patient, it's going to be their insurance company. They want to hammer your reputation, not happening. We have legal things to keep your name off the list so it never, ever shows up, even from an insurance company trying to file it. Now that has to be taken care of before somebody sues you though, so we'll get that done right away. Now here's the good news. 1 year from today, you owe us nothing. If you want to keep us on retainer, it's $2,400 a year. That's up to you. So this covers your whole first year and everything is done. Even if you don't ever use this again, all your stuff's done forever for the rest of your life. We have thousands of people that keep us on retainer and thousands of people that don't because everybody is different. You make that decision a year from now. This whole thing today for you is also a tax write-off. Everybody asks me that every day. Yes, it is. Okay. And so, folks, here's what you'll need to do. We're offering you one last thing here, and this is where we make this a no-brainer. I know I'm asking you to take a big leap of faith after an hour of training. We're giving everybody a tax savings guarantee today, whether you're 1099 or W-2, which means this program is $8,400 for the event. Our guarantee says if we can't save you an additional $8,400 on your taxes next year compared to what you've been paying, we'll write you a check for the difference. Which means this program costs you nothing a year from now. Because we're going to save you $8,400 or more in your taxes every year. And every year after that, it's more money in your pocket. Even if you're W-2, that applies. Okay? This pays for itself within a year. This is why we have 17,000 clients. It's that simple and easy. Okay? We know we can just save you money. We have 40 tax strategies, folks. Let's keep more of your money every year. Okay? You'll need to get an application. It looks like this. You come see me, Braxton, Jamie. We'll have it. They probably have some here. Come see us at the booth the next few days. Take care of that any way you want to. Credit card, debit card, check, get your Delta miles, whatever you like doing. We'll get you a customer packet. We'll set up your first appointment process, 3 minutes, and you're in and you take advantage of all this. And you want credibility? Check this guy out. Dr. Brian Hampanziak, editor-in-chief of the American Journal of Orthopedics. He's also their past president. He's one of our clients, and he tells people all these big conferences, you need to do this. He does it on his own dime. He's protected, he's got us on retainer, he can just be a good doctor and not worry about getting sued. That's what we want to do for all of you, okay? All right, I got done with 5 seconds left. All right, that was close. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. Good to have you guys here today. Enjoy the rest of your conference. Come see me, Brax and Jamie. We're over here at 4 o'clock tomorrow. We'll help all of you with this and get it done. Okay, everybody? If you have questions, I'm hanging out here for a half hour. Come chat with me, all right? Thank you, thank you, thank you.